And it's on. How you doing, Miss Eddie? How you doing, everybody? Look at your beautiful self.
Everything is beautiful. You're looking good tonight.
I try to put it in every now and then. Every now and then, I try to do what it do. But it's always good to see you. It's always good to see you. I'm glad you always is willing to join me and educating and bringing awareness and just showing an abundance of love to the community that we serve the best. I think that's what we do. As the older we get, the age we get, the even though people say you get more responsibilities, I believe with that we create a more serving heart towards one another. That's just something. I could be way off, Ms. Ed. That's just the way I believe. It's just what I think.
You're right there on point.
Well, what's up, family, man? It's great to see you guys, man. I tell you, every time we go a whole week, it just seems like a long time before we get back to you guys. And really, it's not. It actually flies by. But when you get here, it's like, man, it's been a whole week, man. We've been missed these guys, and we haven't seen anybody. We haven't talked to anybody, but we always enjoy it. We have a good time. We bring the best that we can bring. Best we can bring. We do the best that we can do, and we do what God tells us to do, man. We just hope nobody ever gets offended by anything that we say or anything that we bring to the table. We love it. We love you guys. Like you say, we always say this platform is never to tear anyone down. It is only to build you up. To gain. That's all this bad boy is for. If you have issues or you have something you want to enlighten us with, please, you're more than welcome to come on this show, man. I'm telling you, this is easy going me. I'm just like Sunday morning. Just come on in. Just come on in, and we'll work it out. We will work it out. That's just how we do. That's what love does. It welcomes people. So this is the Eye Opener Tuesday show. One Blood presents it, and I have enjoyed it for the last, I think, maybe 2.5 years. I did it a year and a half. I think I did it by myself, and then you came in last year, 2020. So it's been a long time. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good ride, man. It's been a lot of material that's out there, and I think we've gotten better. I think we have enhanced. I think we are just really flowing in a good direction of bringing awareness to the people. So let me give you a little bit about what the show is about. It's the elephant in the room is the conversation that we have, which is those conversations are extremely hard to talk about outside your four walls. So what I mean by that, when you are with your immediate family, you have these great, wonderful conversations. They're very passionate. They have a lot of spunk in them, and you really get into it because it's your train of thought that you have with your particular group of people behind your four walls. And I relate it to church, because we go to church and we get so excited. We get a hold of this Holy Ghost high going on. We get real, so we get amped up and we're excited. The good Lord's done something for us. And we just feel good about on the inside and out what he's blessed us with the word that he's brought us for that morning or for our Bible study. And then as soon as we get outside those four walls, it goes away. The passion is gone. The energy is gone. And the love is there, but it just doesn't have that salt for the flavor that really gives you that burst that makes you feel like, man, that was good. You know what I'm saying? So I really, really look at the conversations just like this. We don't take our outside conversations to the opposite race. The problems that we have, the issues that we have, everything that we have against each other is two main. It's at the end of the day, I don't care what nobody say. The two main races that is involved with this, so ethnic groups, is whites and blacks. At the end of the day, that's where it's in on this east side. You know what I'm saying? On the further east, you got the Iranians, you got everything else going on over there, the Israel and all that. That's different. But for this United States here, it's white and black, and we trying our best to bring a plethora of understanding and love to our thoughts and our thought process. It's a conversation. It's all it is. Can you have that same energy, that same love, that same respect, and talk to your fellow partner, your fellow man or your fellow woman, however you want to look at it, politics-wise, it is what it is. But can you have that conversation without getting so mad and so upset? Can you gain and bring some understanding? Can you bring some meaning Because at the end of the day, man, we here. We're not going anywhere. We're not going to the moon. That's out of the question. We're gonna be right here on Earth until the good Lord call us home. I mean, it is what it is. We're gonna stay right here. So let's just get used to each other. Let's get understanding. Let's gain some knowledge. And let's just love each other, man. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's just do what we do. I think it's easier to love than it is to hate. What you think?
Oh, absolutely. Just like smiling and frowning.
Yeah. Go down the road with happy feet.
Yeah.
That little fella be tap dancing all the way up on the snow. Yes, indeed. Well, look, fam, we're gonna get into this bad boy, man. And my buddy gave me I had a very different topic for today, but a buddy of mine sent me something, and I thought it would fit, Miss Addie. I think it defines what we just went through and what we just did for the month of February. And the question is, guys, is racial bias in the workplace. Do you understand it? Do you think it impacts it in the workplace? And do you understand what it actually does? That's a powerful question. That's a powerful question. This is actually coming from a lawyer. So, imagine that somebody with that type of credentials is asking or wanting more knowledge or want to make sure that the world knows a little bit more knowledge of how this works from his platform. That's a big one to me. And I'm not a lawyer. That takes years of schooling that I knew. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great. I love it. I enjoy education, but I love my lawyers. They do a great, outstanding job. That's their field. That's what they do. But I'm just saying, with his platform, it's amazing that this type of conversation still happens in this day of time. So I want to bring in probably three good topics from it, and it will be, one will be awareness, the second would be leadership, and the third one would be knowledge. That's what I want you to take away today. The awareness of it, and then we're going to the leadership mode of it. And then we'll definitely hit, hopefully you gain some knowledge, or somebody types in and give us some knowledge. We're more than welcome people to come in. You can chime in. If I could figure out how to bring people in on Facebook, I would do it. I'm gonna study that, Miss Addie. I'm gonna figure that out.
I know that on YouTube you can do it.
Yeah, I could do it on
but yeah, you have people can call in, but I'm sure that Facebook has it. We just have to work out the technology.
We're gonna have to work it out first. Amen. But look, awareness. Let me read you real quick, guys. I thought this was really good when I read this earlier, and pretty much the definition of racial biases. It says racial biases are conscious and unconscious prejudicial views developed over time based on stereotypes, often negative perception about one or more racial groups. While race is a primary factor influencing these prejudicial, man, I get tongue-tied on some words, views, these biases are also impacted by other intersecting identity markers such as gender, age, gender, identity, appearance, perceived socioeconomic status, disability, nationality, ethnicity, and accent. That's a different one. We're judging people how they talk. Amazing on that one. All right, let me go back to the camera. So with saying that, I think that brings Ms. Addie an abundance. Well, we need to bring the abundance of awareness. And the reason I think the awareness is because I got a buddy who went through a storm these last couple of weeks. And I'm gonna give you two stories, actually three real quick stories. And it's all pretty much the same. But I got a buddy who his supervisor and another supervisor called him into the office, and they wanted to demote him with no paperwork. When I'm a supervisor, so the best thing that I learned years ago was documentation. That's the beauty of the world. You in any kind of leadership role, documentation is extremely important. You have to know what you're talking about. You have to when you approach someone with an issue, you need all the information that you can have. So when you approach him, your stuff is correct. Everything about the situation is written down. You don't have to try to remember, because I'm not one of the people that can remember everything anyway. So most definitely, I'm going to document everything through the process, as I am doing right now, before I go to entrepreneurship mode. Praise God. Document everything. The catch what for me was, my man had his documentation as well. He's very, very thorough. I've known this brother for many, many years, and he's more thorough than I am, and I'm pretty thorough individual when it comes to especially writing stuff down. I have to, because for one, I can't remember it, y'all. God bless you. I can't remember everything, but and I would ask people too, especially my close ones. I'll ask them, hey, do you remember this? Or do you remember what I said? Just because it needs to be written down. But my buddy is in the office, 2 supervisors, they're demoting him from a high position and back to a patrol position. And it's amazing to me, because it's 2 white individuals who do not like this black man because of his status and how high he's actually made it in this type of field. In other words, he shouldn't be here. You're too high up in this particular field. And here's the other part. I'm a man-to-man person. I coached football for many, many years. When kids come in, some have talent, some don't. I bring all of them to the forefront. I let each and every one of them go out for every position. It doesn't matter. I don't care. In other words, let's say quarterback. Quarterbacks are normally lean, tall, and very elusive, as well as running backs. So a kid that looks healthier, wider, bigger, and doesn't look like a running back, doesn't look like a quarterback, but he says, Coach Fred, I want to throw the ball. I want to throw the ball. I want to try it. I want to try it. And I'm just looking at him and I'm saying to myself, this child right here, I'm not going to kill his dreams just by my words, but I'm going to let him kill it himself. So I have to bring him up. You know what I'm saying? I have to bring him up. I believe, in other words, I believe in equality. I believe in being fair. And we let it happen. So in other words, this particular situation, for the people saying, well, hey, Fred, maybe he didn't hold his end of the bargain. Remind you, I just said he had his notes as well as they didn't have theirs. He had his, but they didn't have theirs. Now, his documentation was his previous, what is it? I don't got lost the word when you're up for promotion and they do a
resume or
evaluation. Yeah, they do evaluation.
No, evaluations.
Had his evaluation in his hand or in his briefcase or whatever. Now they told him on his evaluation, this written down on the evaluation, great job, done very, very well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No recommendations for any other training, no recommendations to do anything even better. This is just an outstanding job. 30 days later, we're in a demoting status. And here's his documentation here from a good man that says, you said this 30 days ago. Now, where is this even coming from? In which direction? Where are we going? Case point, let me speed this up. He has to meet the superior and couldn't get a meeting. You can't even get in this office with this superior person unless you have an appointment. Opens the door, happens to bump into him physically. That is, if you don't believe in God, then, or if you believe in conspiracy, or if you believe in coincidence, well, I'm gonna go through all 3 of them. That's a coincidence, that's a conspiracy, and that's fake. So that covers all of them. And he bumped into the brother, went into the office. Now, mind you, you can't get in this office without an appointment or whatever. It's hard to get in there. Gets in there, pleads his case, has his documentations with him. How about his superior knows his level of expertise? He understands his level of expertise and he appreciates his level of expertise. Now the tables switch. The man that first went in that was under investigation or being demoted 30 days after a great review. Now the other cats will be under investigation for false documentation. That's awareness, because that brother stood up for what he was, for his rights, and made it very aware, saying, hey, there's no way you can say this 30 days prior and I have a great record, and you hit me with something like this, and then you can't tell me that's not racial bias in the workplace. This is a high ranking brother who has done his paper. I mean, he's done his job. What is it? Cross the T's and dotted the I's all through the years. And this is where we're at. This is how you bring awareness to the situation, and how can we fix it, Miss Addie? Talk to me.
Oh, wow. Awareness.
Mhm.
What I love is the brother
Mhm.
was right.
Yeah.
Let's look at that.
Mhm.
Sometimes we're persecuted even when we've done everything right. But we have to make decisions that says, I'm going to do the right thing, whether they come after me or not.
Right.
I'm going to document it. And because of his previous credibility, he had legs to stand on.
Mm.
So the message here is do the right thing.
Mm.
Then you will have some backup. If not in the upper level, and on the upper level that we're talking about.
Amen to that one.
Who will make you run into the people at the door that needs to be addressed.
Mhm. Mhm.
Awareness. Before you get to your next step,
Mm.
awareness means knowing truths. So much about race relations, Fred,
Mhm.
is emotional.
Mhm.
Race is not personal.
Right.
If you don't take anything else, race is not personal.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can be married to somebody of the opposite race
Mhm.
and feel like everybody else in that race is a mess up. It ain't personal.
Mhm.
It's about groups and group reputations and group stereotypes. That's what the bias definition you were talking about.
Mhm.
It's based on what we have been taught, not truths.
Mhm.
So if you've been taught that a certain group is really your enemy, and you go to work and your best coworker is one of them,
Mhm.
that person becomes the exception to the group.
Mhm.
So when we start addressing race relations, awareness, knowledge,
Mhm.
let's know what we're dealing with. Okay?
That's what I'm talking about right there. What really amazed me is, I think it's 2021. I think that's what kind of got my attention when my brother told me this 2021. Even though I'm going through the same crap right now, but being that it's 2021, I sat back and I was praying. I was asking God, I said, how do we continue to go through such turmoil after so many years of knowing and having that much knowledge of what we have? And I'm reminded of how long a 2-week journey lasted 40 years. You know, I'm reminded of how long they stayed compromised in a mindset that they stayed trained in, because that's the way they was trained to think. So they stayed in that mindset for that period of time. Go ahead.
Does your Bible say, raise up a child in the way that he or she will go for how long?
Yeah.
How long?
Raise them up for how long?
The rest of their life.
Mhm.
So what we're dealing with here is we can get along beautifully as long as people are happy over here and people are happy over here, people are employed, people are going, their football team is winning, and if they're not, they're still able to watch it. When circumstances change,
I understand that. Mhm.
and competition raises its ugly head,
Mhm.
then it's my group against your group.
Mhm.
It's, brother, I've been knowing you for 20 years. We grew up together, but it's about my people now
Mhm.
because we are in competition.
Mhm.
You don't see the ugly until it's wartime.
Yeah.
Same people, same races. It happens within tribes. It happens within ethnic groups. When we understand that it is about ethnic conflict and not race,
Mhm.
and whoever has the power, be he black or white or Indian or Asian or whatever, Russian, Chinese,
Yeah.
whoever has the power, that is the person who dominates. And what was that definition? Bias, racial bias against anybody that he wants to control.
At the end of the day, it's control. That's the part I want to get out of, because that's where the leadership kicks in for me. I'm in a position where I'm a leader. I have to be, because that's what I'm bred to be. That's what my father trained me to be. He always said, son, you're a leader, not a follower. And that has stuck with me for many, many years. So when I hear the words control, um, I can't really say that that is leadership, but for certain groups, control is more of a dictatorship than leadership. And for us, I have to be a different kind of leader that dictates my own life, which way I'm going to go and which way I'm going to handle it. The way I wanted to handle the situation I just went through, I personally, if it had been about 20 years ago, Ms. Eddie, Ray Charles said, lay that brother down. I'd have laid him down. But what would that have solved? I wouldn't be here now, probably now having the type of conversation if I would have. So the leadership part is gaining the knowledge over the years, listening, watching, making sure that the two that, well, I have four, but the two boys that are young men now becoming, watching everything that I do, good or bad. My dictatorship is to make sure that my path that I create for them is a great leadership model. If I don't do that, then what they will go, if they catching that, if they get in that situation, which I'm pretty sure they will, being that they're a black man, their reaction might put them in a different spotlight for the rest of their life. So if we don't have these type of conversations, put this awareness out there to let our opposite race know that, hey, this is still a problem in 2021. The man who has a organization that is built off unity is going through it. I was talking with a really good friend of mine. We have good conversations. I created a course and she's helping me with my course. And it dawned on me, Ms. Addie, that I have a course to where I renew undervalued men by restoring their lost confidence. And I called it the 7 ways to restore your lost confidence and become the foreman of your life. That's my life coach style. That's the other side of me. And what dawned on me when I just went through this situation is that God has brought me through every step of my own course. So I'm taking the fruit of my own plate before I give it out. The only reason I can do that is to have this type of platform and these type of conversations so I can gain my own understanding of what God wants me to have in my heart and my mind. So when I do give it out, I can say I'm not giving out something that I have not been through. So I'm not going to lead you down a path that I have not been down. I'm going to bring awareness. God bring awareness to me. He brought it to me to allow me to go through the crap that I'm going through right now, so I can bring another brother through it as they go through it. But here's the kicker for me. If we pay attention and we listen to this awareness on both sides of the fence, do we really even have to go through these type of situations? At what point are you really willing? And I mean, seriously, really, really willing to sit down and listen versus trying to control. Mm-hmm. I like how you do that.
What you just
like we in church.
I want to jump in before I forget. You know what you have just said is the key to change. Mm-hmm. You can talk with people for a lifetime, but once they experience something, then there is the platform for change. When white people felt police abuse,
my God,
it was like, oh my goodness, this shouldn't happen to me.
I said, oh my.
The same people who have been saying, yeah, I want to hear the whole story about what was this black man was doing that they're not reporting that made the police do this to him.
Right.
But when it's you or your child,
different ball game.
The experience, what you were just explaining, the experience gives you the addition of credibility, knowledge and credibility.
I think they give me a little power, don't it? Is that give me a little power? Just a little bit. You gotta look up there and get it.
I don't know if it's power, but certainly authority.
Hey, I feel it. Henceforth, that brings me to the third point, which is knowledge. There's a young lady that's going through the same situation that I know of, that I'm going through on the job. The sad part about it is she doesn't know it. That's the sad part. She doesn't even know the surroundings of the wolves. She doesn't even see the setup, the traps that are being laid, how they're strategically being placed for documentation to be written out. And when you get to a point to where you're not willing to listen to someone that has been through it, you get caught by the trap and you get ate up by the wolves. And if we don't put this out here, if we don't bring the awareness and carry out our leadership to teach our young ones and show them that, hey, we are in certain positions, we can make certain positions, and this is how we conduct ourselves in these certain positions. And this is what we're teaching, then we're going to lose way more than we have already lost now. And that's the reason why we're not educating. There's not enough programs that are bringing awareness to this. There's not enough people that are taking that conversation outside those four walls and having the same passion to bring it out to the opposite race. There's nothing wrong with a conversation. There's nothing, whether it's good or bad, there's nothing wrong with a conversation. You got to bring some knowledge to this, to these type of situations that are happening. This situation happened with my homeboy in the police force. How many shows have I had where I bring actual law enforcement on and they explain the greatness and they explain some of the bad stuff that they go through? But this type of situation happened in a police force, which is crazy. And it's really upsetting because I know the character, as well as the people that's in his environment, the people that works around him, the ones that could speak for him. They know his character as well. But like I said earlier, if we do not bring this awareness out, if we don't kick it out hard enough, and we don't continue to talk about it, we don't continue to conversate about it, you don't ever bring it to my attention. I don't, I met a young lady. She's a white young lady. I forgot her name. Oh, have mercy. And I wrote it down in my phone. I got it programmed in my phone. I still forgot her name. But she was a sweet young lady. But she said something that stuck with me. And she said, Fred, she said, I was so naive. And she said, I grew up in a time where, pretty much, she maybe got a few years on me. So she grew up in that era, same era that I grew up in, but never even saw or even recognized. And I used to say they didn't want to, but I have to retract that because they don't know what they're looking. If you're walking through, I'm a hunter. So if I see a bear trap, I'll recognize it because I know one. But if you're walking through, you're not a hunter, you don't know that's a bear trap. You just think it's just something out there in the woods waiting. And you might walk by it and hit it and it trap your hind part. And you sit there looking like you're looking. That's the same concept as that young lady. She really didn't know no better. But she said, I'm willing to learn. That was the key for me. In other words, will you give me some of what you know and help me understand it along the way? And don't charge it to my heart when I mess up. That's the key, man. To me, that's the key. Communication is key to life. If we just sit down and communicate it and have a conversation, gain your knowledge of it, share it with your brothers, share it with your sisters of the opposite race. Black folks already know what black folks know. Well, I might have to retract that too, Ms. Ada, because we got some messed up stuff too. But you know what I'm saying. Share the love. Share the love.
I've got a challenge for you.
Oh, sucky. Let's get it.
Challenge and a question.
Yeah.
You made the statement earlier about preparing our children to face the realities of 2021.
Yes.
Well, that's swallowing a whale in one swallow.
Yeah.
Because Martin Luther King said, we need to raise our children so that they will be evaluated based on the content of their character instead of the race, the color of their skin. We have managed to raise a generation of young people in integrated schools where their best friends are Hispanics, their best friends are white.
Yeah.
Their show enough friends.
Yeah.
And then they turn 20. They've graduated from high school. They go into the workforce. like the young lady you were talking about,
Mhm.
and they are experiencing something that they have not been prepared for.
Mhm.
All through high school, they experience life as equals.
Yes.
All of a sudden, they are in the workforce and people are treating them like Negroes.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they're not understanding what they're seeing and experiencing
Mhm.
because adults
Yeah.
have not, I hate to use the word prepared them,
Mhm.
but the danger of preparing
Mhm.
is telling them what when they're 15 and 16?
Truth.
Don't trust white people.
Mhm. Mhm.
Watch out when they say this and this and this.
Mhm. Mhm.
But if we're telling them on Sunday, we're going to love everybody regardless of who they look like,
Yeah. Mhm.
then I place before you,
Mhm. Mhm.
because you're going through it now
Indeed.
with young people. How
Mhm.
do you prepare them for a racist 2021?
What I have been doing through my organization, One Blood Movement Unity, I got to promote myself a little
Yeah.
bit. Praise God.
You ready for entrepreneurship?
I'm ready.
Do it.
So I put it out there just for a second or two. But I have prepared a 5-step program, and it's a mentoring program. And what it does, it breaks down the mental mindset. What I went through in basic training in the military, I would never forget. The first 2 weeks was hell on earth, on my body and my mind. And but I endured it, and I actually enjoyed it because it was a breakdown from any and everything I ever been through. For me, in other words, my mindset is challenge. You give me a challenge and tell me I can't do it. That's motivational for me. It's not a breakdown for me. It's motivational. So every time somebody's ever tell me something, you can't do this. That's always been a motivational part for me. So with the program, that's what the initiating part of the program is to really break down in mind. In other words, I'm going to erase their truths and put in reality truths. And that starts at the elementary school level. I do that now. That's why I coach football at an early age. My age, football starts at 6 years old, and I go up to the 13-year-old era. The reason I like that age, what gap or section or whatever you want to call it, that is the mindset most potent moment at that point in time in life. If you don't embed the truth inside of them, that hey, you know what, your skin is beautiful, it's lovely, but everyone doesn't like it, and that's on both sides of the ball. But at the same token, you respect your skin tone, and the other one respects theirs. Now, this is how it is in the real world, and we go into a deep detail of actually how it really is. I believe in just really putting the truth in them without the hard part is getting their parents to understand my type of teaching. That's the hard part. It's not the kids. The kids get the concept and they understand it. At the end of every football camp, me and my brother, Coach Ken, is a white guy. We always feed him, and then we give him a small speech. And the love that we give him, one of the key things that we always say, remember the treatment that you're getting now. When you become supervisors, bosses, CEOs, whatever, worker or employee in life, remember the treatment now, because this is how you continue to treat later.
It's the raise up a child
In the
in the
way
way he should go. And that's what's important.
God made me that way a long time, but I guess they put that preacher thing in. I'm not going to agree to it yet, though. I can't answer that call. Was that not right now? Not right now. But indeed, I do believe with One Blood Movement Unity 5-step mentoring program, I do believe that we can hit them in the head softly, but very, very lovingly. Um, in the beginning stages. To me, that's important, Miss Addie. To me, that's important. Because the races that I moved here to Johnson County in the I think the early 80s. And I remember that, welcome to KKK Town was still up, Smithfield. So by that type of environment, atmosphere of hate still embedded, that's the type of schools I went to. So learning and going through some real and seeing some real racial stuff, not nowhere near what my ancestors seen, not nowhere near what my father's seen, but seeing that type of stuff at an early age pushed me into a mode of saying, if I could catch that negativity before or right at its peak, at the 6, 7 elementary level mindset, I have enough faith to believe I can change it.
There's another piece to that as well. What do we hear? What do our children hear us saying at home when nobody else is listening about the other race?
Us and them.
White people are this, or black people are this. What are we saying in front of our children that is impacting their perspective of the race they belong to and other ethnicities? We are the role models, and therefore anything comes out of our mouth must be right.
Yeah.
That's what they're hearing in their community about Negroes. Because my daddy and my uncle and my mama and my aunts and my cousins.
That behind the four-wall conversation, the elephant in the room,
that is internalized. Internalized. And when it's internalized, then you don't even realize what your definition, conscious and unconscious. When it's internalized, it becomes unconscious. I don't know why I went ahead and hired the white guy and didn't hire the black guy. I just felt like this person was a little bit more qualified. And you're a good guy. My goodness, you're a deacon at your church.
Oh, Jesus.
There you go. It's understanding. And what I love to emphasize is that when we understand that it goes both ways, then we can stop pointing fingers at any other race.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. So we need to get off our high horse and looking at them and saying, what are the principles of what are the basic truths involved? What you were saying about your camp. Yeah. You got to unlearn a whole bunch of stuff and say, the truth is, this is what all people do. Yeah. They love their kind. They put their kind first. They make a sacrifice for their kind, and they want the best for their children. What is wrong with that?
Just as long as you treat the other kind as well as you treat your kind. I don't think.
And there's something called human nature.
That's it.
That we need to look in the face to.
Yes, sir. That's where I'm at right there.
But you know what covers all of it? I know you do.
Oh,
Love.
oh, yeah.
Love.
Mm,
When you teach that truth,
mm.
then all the other truths get washed away.
Oh yeah, covers a multitude. Yeah, yeah. It's about
That's
like
what I like.
it's about
And
like
there is a solution. We can
yeah.
talk all night about negative, but
Mhm.
if we can end with hope
Yeah.
and joy and truth and a proven method,
Mhm. Mhm.
you just have to get people to sign up
Yeah.
and buy in 100%.
Yeah. Gotta get these parents to sign up. Good God. Need them to buy in 100%. Kids got it. Let's get the parents rolling. That's the ones we need. But that's the point. That is the point we made. Is that awareness, leadership, and knowledge. Uh, Understanding is the key. Understanding is key. Every race does it. Every ethnic group does it. We are one human race. So I truly, truly just I have a crazy belief, and I know I do, but Fred didn't give Fred this belief. Is what I want people to understand.
Mhm.
You know, and the things that happen and the reasons that they happen, I can surely tell you that it's not something that even Fred would even do. But the God that is in me is the one that pushes me to do what I do. And that's where I give my credit to, and that's where I get my love
Amen.
from to do what I do. And I love it. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind going through I don't like it all the time, especially what I'm going through right now. I don't. I'm talking with a good friend, and we talk and uh, I pour out some of my frustrations from time to time, but I tell you it's tough. But the decision has been made. I'm just setting the date, and I believe if we all did that, I think if we made a decision and set a date and write it down to say, you know what, I'm going to understand my opposite, whatever it takes. I'm going to understand it. I'm gonna do what I do, but I'm gonna understand it. I think that would go a whole lot further and a whole lot quicker if we just took that time. Instead, you gotta tell them your credentials. I mean, your social medias and let them know where they can take the course on Udemy and where they can find you on Patreon. Praise
All
God.
righty. Thank you. If you want to understand the basics, I mean just basics of understanding race relations in America, then go to Udemy, udemy.com,
Yeah, so
and look for Understanding Race in America. It's a 5-course, a 5-lesson course.
mhm, mhm.
And it's easy. I hope it's fun. It's challenging. It will make you think about things you hadn't thought about before, but it will certainly orient you to
Mhm,
race and how we get where we get to.
mhm, mhm.
But then you need to know some history too.
Yeah,
And if you have 5 minutes a day
just
and
five.
$5 a month, then make your way over to patreon.com to know Black history. This month, it's a whole month of Black women.
Yeah,
Every day, you go get some wonderful stuff about
yeah.
Black women. I tell you what. And then, last but never least,
Mhm,
I have over 60 videos on ASB
mhm, mhm.
channel, ASB History channel on YouTube. And you can't beat free.
No.
Learn some history. Thank you so much, Fred.
Oh, you more than welcome. You're more than welcome. Y'all go take that course. It's so beautiful. It's lovely. It's educational, and it's less than breakfast for one day. It's less than breakfast, and I'm serious. It will enlighten you. I'm trying to get some of these young people to join on this course, Miss Annie. So I'm trying to put it out there because it's understanding. It is understanding. At the end of the day, when the sheets fall back, do you understand? And I just truly believe it. You got to gain some understanding. But look, guys, that is it right there, man. I tell you, Miss Addie, that was a beautiful show. I love you. You're so beautiful. I appreciate you always hanging in there with me. You young and beautiful audience, man. I tell you what, we always in love. I got to catch up on my YouTube stuff, so I'm gonna start posting the stuff on YouTube as well. And we're gonna get that back up to date. I do apologize for my YouTube watchers, man. I tell you, it's when you're doing, you're doing, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but when you're doing, you're doing. You're wide open, and your boy is about to be wide open on entrepreneurship very, very soon. I'll keep speaking it until I get there. Some people say fake it till you make it. I'm gonna get it while I'm going, and I promise you, I will be there soon, and I'll be able to do a whole lot more for the public, for the communities. I'll be able to serve a whole lot more. I think that's my aim. I want a passion to serve the community just a little bit more than what I'm doing right now. So y'all be blessed, be safe, man. Let me see, my life coaching course will be coming out pretty soon. 7 ways to restore your lost confidence in men. That will be coming out really, really soon, Ms. Ad. I'll be launching that soon. I'll be hosting a webinar pretty soon, and I will let you know shortly when that will be. And you guys can sign up, man, and check the webinar out, and then you feel free to take the course. 7 ways to restore your lost confidence. I tell you, I've been through it myself. I've actually been through it twice, probably more than that, but I've actually pinpointed as a very good friend of mine kept reminding me, you are actually going through your own course, and I am, and I appreciate God for letting me do that. But in the meantime, be safe, be blessed, do whatever it is you have to do to feel safe. Everybody has their own opinion about PPE. Do whatever you do to feel safe and make other people feel safe while they're around you. And that goes to my favorite saying: each individual does the individual job. That is what makes a team. Y'all be blessed, be safe, man. We love you with the love of God. Talk to you soon.